Okay, so this is going to be my review of Atlanta Reign versus Florida Mayhem in the quarterfinals of the May Melee. This is actually a crazy quarterfinal matchup. Um, I just want to preface this by saying that I expected Florida to like 3-0 this, to win this handily, and that's not disrespect to Atlanta. I think people have been sleeping on Florida heavy over the last month. I think they've improved so much. They're one of the best teams in scrims, except for they like C9 constantly in scrims. We literally call it a Florida 9 in scrims because they C9 so much in scrims, but they obviously don't do it anywhere near that much in actual matches. But I feel that they are a very solid team. They have improved so much over the season, and I think they're like genuinely a clear top 3 team in NA. It's just shock Philly, Florida, and depending on the meta, it could be any of the 3. In my opinion, I think Florida's really good. I've been saying that they're good. This is not a post May Melee thing. I've been saying that they've been slept on. I think they're very good. So I expected this to be a clean Florida win. Atlanta at least took a map, apparently. I didn't really see very much of the series at all. It's weird that they're playing Dogman Kodak. I was watching this kind of, but I was playing TFT and this was on my second monitor and whatever, so I wasn't super paying attention. But it'll be interesting to see now. This Florida did choose Atlanta as their opponent, which I think was a pretty good choice for them, mostly because their Atlanta doesn't have the DPS that Florida's comp requires you to play. So Florida basically plays the double shield, the double shield comp, and they use a brig to hard pocket their tracer, and their tracer just gets like insane value, and the only way to shut down the tracer is to have your own tracer with a brig. Like they literally force a mirror matchup, and that's my opinion on the comp. We'll see eventually. Obviously, they lose to San Francisco, so I'll review that and see how San Francisco was able to deal with it, because I feel like San Francisco has the same problem that Atlanta has, in that they don't have a tracer ace that they can put in while Striker is like mysteriously not playing. Like Ons and Rascal cannot, neither of them can even pretend that they can match Yaki on tracer. And Edison and Baby Bay are the same way. Edison isn't a bad tracer, but like Yaki is a tracer ace. Like Yaki is one of the top 3, top 4 tracers in the league, and it would be like the difference between us having Dante play tracer against Yaki, which we're very confident in. We think Dante is also a top 3, top 4 tracer in the league, versus us having Linkser play the tracer duel versus Yaki. And Linkser is a good tracer. He's not a bad player, but you can't expect him to be able to 1v1 a like literal tracer ace player like Yaki. So Atlanta has that issue where neither of these players can play tracer enough to handle Yaki. So they're going to have to find a way to stop Florida's comp from working, and that is damn hard. So Florida picks Atlanta. I think that's a good pick. They also pick Busan. I think that's a good pick because Busan is so good for their tracer comp. They could also go to Ilios if they wanted to play a tracer style, but if they want to play that double shield, Busan is easily the best Koth map for them to pick. So smart map from Florida, plays into their comp exactly. We scrimmed against both these teams during the week. I think we scrimmed Atlanta. Maybe we didn't. But we definitely scrimmed Florida more than once. We scrimmed Florida a lot. I think they're really good. I always like scrimming them. They always play well. Thank you so much for doing it. Super informative. There's so much stuff you talk about that I never catch myself. Yeah, I mean, that's the... It takes forever for me to go through these, so of course I can talk about more stuff. If I had to talk about it like while it was happening live in front of me, I would miss a lot of this stuff too. Striker was ill and injured his wrist. No comment. Man breaks his bones every 6 months. It feels like unfortunate. Oh, I guess you're talking about Striker. Do you think Gargoyle is being slept on? I think Gargoyle is good. Yeah, I think Gargoyle is definitely good. I think he's probably slept on just because he's like not talked about at all, but I don't think people like think he's bad or something. I don't think people like think he's not good, but you know, he doesn't come up and like, is he a top 5 off tank in the league? I don't think he is a top 5 off tank in the league, but you would expect him to come up like more often than he does, I guess. So in that sense, he's kind of slept on, yeah. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. So here we see this Tracer comp. So this is not the comp they run all the time. They run Zen Brig here because of the map layout, because they don't want the BAP. They feel like the Zen has really good sightlines and it's super strong, and they play Zen Soldier together. I don't know why they play Soldier. I feel like Soldier's not that good in this composition. I feel like we've played against them in like this meta, in other metas in scrims on this map a lot. And I feel like the Ashe is just better in this situation. I feel like BQB's Ashe is really good. I think they should just play Ashe here. I think it's weird that they play Soldier. I don't really like it. Atlanta plays the greedy slow comp with no Brig. But at least they have the Ashe. This comp has more sustain, but these heroes, there is no one that can remotely deal with a Tracer with Brig armor. Nothing. And that is what Mayhem wants to take advantage of. Here's a core part of the little Mayhem argument I saw from analysts. Bro, I'm so sick of everyone being like surprised that Mayhem and Valiant are good, bro. I said before the season that both of these teams were going to be good. If you're an analyst and you... Like, I'm sorry, Sideshow's bet that if Valiant finished, like, top 10, whatever he'll do, he'll shave their logo or some shit. That's a dumb fucking bet, bro. You can see the day their roster got announced, I tweeted about how good they were about finding underappreciated players. Dreamer, Lastro, and KSP are all extremely undervalued. Extremely. If I had to... Obviously, Outlaws was not in the position where we have to build a team from scratch. We already have a lot of really good players. But if we were in a situation like Valiant was in, where our whole team isn't there anymore, and you have to build from scratch, I'm picking those same players. Those guys are on my list. Throw Kevster in there too. Like, it tilted me so hard to see that at the time. And I'm so glad that people are having to eat their words. Not Niraj with the follow. Thank you. I appreciate it. To be fair, KSP was added late. Maybe that wasn't public early then. I don't know. Also, obviously, they didn't keep Slur for good reasons, in my opinion. But I also think Slur was really good and undervalued, underappreciated. But people didn't know about that stuff in his past. Would Widow be a good pick here as well instead of Soldier? Yeah, Widow is a good pick here instead of Soldier. And I only had Valiant at like 10th. Yeah, but thinking that Valiant just like there's a clear like top 5, top 6-ish teams like coming into the season, and then everyone else is just like, who knows, bro? Who knows? All right, so Yaki playing for space early. BQB just keeps having to rotate away, which is the difficulty of playing Soldier. Yeah, he's just going to get run on, bro. I just don't like this. I really don't like the Soldier pick here. I feel like it's really bad. But here we go. The tanks just get down and dirty. And this is what Mayhem does with this comp. It's actually crazy to see double shield Briggs in. You're like, wait, isn't this bad? Like, do they have enough heals for these tanks? And all they do is just, as soon as their like their shield tanks kind of like hide and play out of LOS, and then they just push in and use both their shields, use both their tanks shifts, and Brig heals to just stay alive for a long time while Yaki kills your whole team. That's it. That's what they do. They do it all the time. They're so good. I don't know, is there anyone underrated that you would like Outlaws to pick up for next season? I'm not saying that on stream. I'm not giving away the juice. What? I'm not telling you that. Wait, what the fuck? Why would I answer that? Okay, so Yaki flanking behind, gonna go for this pull pulse to force drone. Dogman gets the drone off. They break the drone instantly. The tanks are dying, though. The square has come out. And I'm not sure how close Fate was, but what probably happened here is the tanks weren't close enough yet to get that hard engage. Yaki probably needed to let Atlanta get a little closer before he made that play. So there are some on the list for consideration. I mean, I guess? I don't know. It's not off season. It's not like I'm making plans on changes to the team. We're planning like what we're doing this season, but I still watch contenders in EU, NA, and Korea, so I have an idea of who the good players are. I would have to check like who's of age and stuff, and I don't know who other people are scouting, but I'm aware of tier 2 and who's available. But I'm not going to talk about who I think is undervalued on stream. I'm not trying to let other teams, like, even if we don't need them, like, let's say, like, Meko. Like, we don't need an undervalued off-tank, right? Like, last year, my shout-out would have been Krong. I feel like Krong was criminally underrated and could play aggressively and, like, passively on Sigma, on Diva, on Zarya, even on Hog, and a lot of off-tanks don't have Hog in their pool nowadays. I felt like Krong was insanely underrated, so that would have been my shout-out, right? But even in a situation like now where, like, we don't need an off-tank, we have Meko, I'm still not going to say who I think is underrated because I don't want other teams to make good decisions. I want other teams to not pick up good players. There's just no reason for me to talk about that. So, BQB off-angling on Soldier, just trying to find angles to spam here. Florida should not take this fight in this tiny-ass room. I feel like that's so bad for them. Yaki dies to Bob, though, so Atlanta should win the fight. I don't know why Atlanta wants to fight in that room. They should want to play open space. Like, playing close works better for the Brig, and it means these tanks can't get punished as hard. Because the thing is, this is a low heal composition, right? So what you want to do is you want to play open space, because that way they have to use their shields just to walk up, then their shields get broken. Then they have to use their other cooldowns to keep walking, and they can get killed, right? But if you play where they can just fight close, they get to use everything all at once, and the lack of healing doesn't really matter that much because everyone's just doing a bunch of damage. So now they're playing open space on point. This is much better, much better. See, Florida now has to cross open space and get to point, and that's when having less heals is problematic. But they just need to push out with Bongo here. Yeah, Gator Bongo's early. Good holding space. I really want to see them like push more with this Bongo, but they're not at all. Edison's super low. They flux. There's no trance or anything available. There's a huge flux. Does so much damage to the tanks, and again, especially because the Brig isn't in range, these tanks are going to stay low HP. It's going to be hard. BQB trying to get value. Gangnam Jin cannot take a duel with Ashe, unfortunately. It's just never going to be a dub. And this is the win. And yeah, I feel like the Soldier is a bad pick here, but I also feel like they can just get away with the Bat Brig here. They don't necessarily need the Zen. I think if they played Ashe or Widow and they played Bat Brig, Florida has a much, much easier time in this map. Alright, Mecha Base. There's definitely a Bat Brig map. I guess BQB is going to TP for them. I think that's strong. I think if you're Florida, you can gamble here because Atlanta just played the full greedy slow comp in Busan. And in Busan this whole map is fucking Busan. In Sanctuary. And in Sanctuary, a lot of teams play dive. Dive tanks are really popular, especially if you want to play Zen. So you can assume at this point that Atlanta is probably not going to play rush or dive in this map. They're probably just going to play this shit again. So you can just, you have to rotate differently first fight because like if they're playing a Rhine comp, you probably don't want to meet them on top. You probably want to roll out bridge. But they can just use TP and take a bunch of space up top because they don't expect a Rhine comp. What makes it a bad Brig map? Wait, I don't think it's a bad Brig map. If I said that, I misspoke. I definitely don't think... I think it's a BAP Brig map. This point is a BAP break map. That's probably what you're referencing. Couldn't ATL have played way faster with the flux and secured the W faster? It feels like they just stood there. No, they want to play slower with their comp because the other team doesn't have heals. So they used Bongo early, so then Florida had to like cross all this space, and they want to wait out the Bongo, and they're getting poked the whole time. Then once the Bongo runs out and they're low, they get to flux, and again, the team can't heal. I think ATL played it well. I think they could have spread out more and taken more space, but they didn't need to play fast. They can be more aggressive by positioning better without like actually hard engaging. What are your thoughts on Urster not playing? I really don't know why it is, but Atlanta would be way better if Urster could play. He's one of the best DPS players on the planet. Really sucks that he doesn't play. I don't know what's going on. Like, Urster's one of those players that's so good that even though he's on another team, I'm bummed that he's not playing because he's just so fun to watch. He's just so good. Really important to point out here, Edison TPs, which makes sense. They don't have Yaki do the TP, even though he's Tracer. And he can get back to the fight faster. They have BQB do it because they want Yaki to be in good position and have more blinks. That's actually an important thing to notice. That's how much emphasis they put on Yaki. They make the Ashe do the TP and not a freaking Tracer. It's because all their emphasis is on Yaki. And Yaki being in good position and getting value. Mayhem started winning when they officially embraced the Miami Vice aesthetic. That is true. That is true. I think they wanted to change their colors last season, though. Maybe if they had changed them last season, they could have won then, too. Oh, baby bay. Oh, my God. He just gets pulled. He's playing so far forward, though. Wait. Why does Florida get so much more space than Atlanta? What does Atlanta's Orisa do? Wait, why is their shield there? What? Why did they put their shield there? Atlanta, throw! What the fuck? Yo! That's a terrible shield. Why are you shielding here? You have no space. Nothing. You're holding on the side of the bunker? That's just L. You can't win now. This literally threw the fight. Unwinnable. Unwinnable. Terrible first shield from Gator. The team can't push now. Look at this Orisa shield. Look at this. Look at it. They have literally half the map. Atlanta has their spawn. That's it. This is terrible. No. Playing on that side is not an issue. The shield is just way too far back. You need to shield aggressively and shield forward so your team can push up. Now your team has no space to work with. I have no problem playing on that side, but you just need to shield forward. Take space. Now, when Baby Bay wants to play aggressive, they get a pull, they get some damage in, they want to play aggressive, but they can't. They have no space control. Look, now they put a shield forward. But it's too late. They have to, when they make their aggressive shield gets them, their second shield, which is supposed to be aggressive, right? Just gets them to the midway point. Fate's second shield takes away half the map. Like, this is just... Look at where the shield is. Look at where the second Orisa shield is. It just takes all the space. That's just some weak shit from Atlanta. You cannot shield there. Like, totally unacceptable. And because you have no space, you can't contest the Tracer at all, and Yaki just hard farms. And he's just insane. Like, if you just can't contest Yaki, if he has all the space, and there's no heroes he has to be afraid of, you're just not going to win. You're not. He is that good of a player. You have to do both of those things. You have to take space away and have a player that looks at him. And of course, Gangnam Jin gets the fast square. They just pop square instantly and stagger a bunch of kills off of that. Ugh. You hate to see it. Yaki's hiding. Has the ability to get a pull pulse. They have Chris, third person scouting on Briggs, so they know where the rotations are happening. Yaki again, ready for this pulse in the backline. Forces the drone? Wait, how does it kill Dogman and kill the drone? That's super weird. What? That's not supposed to happen. I don't know if that's like a bug in the kill feed or something, but like your pulse should not be able to kill a drone and kill a person inside the drone. That's a really weird interaction. That should not be the case at all. Dogman got done dirty right there. That's some bullshit. I'll be honest. Alright, so now they tried retaking bottom. They got caught out by the pulse. Now they know Gargoyle has flux, so going bottom again is going to be really hard. So I think going top is better because it's so easy to flex you on bottom and you can't deal with it at all. In top, you're still going to get flux, but it's not like so free. Oh no, they go for a juke. I don't think that's going to work against the Tracer comp though. So I like this though. They push out with Bongo. This is good. What I hope they did is they went here, used the shield, and they wait for Fate to put an Orisa shield down. And then as soon as they see the Orisa shield, they say, fuck it, we go the other way. Because Florida can't come meet them without the Orisa shield. And then they push and Bongo Orisa shield themselves. And I think that's exactly what they did because Fate had an Orisa shield on the ground facing this way. So they just walked up and spammed behind their Sigma shield, waited for Fate to put down a shield, and then they just left. That's so smart. That's a great way to retake. Very good. So now they at least have some space. They use that Bongo. Yaki again in the back line, forces drone and breaks it. Orisa flank is interesting. Oh! Baby Bay just gives BQB the business. Is Fate like still behind them or something? Where's Fate? Where's this Orisa, bro? Yeah, they're jumping off the map. Yeah, they're still behind. They have to jump off the map. Okay. So now the problem is, and I haven't seen this match at all, but what I do in this situation, we play a similar comp on this map. You just brig armor your Tracer and have her go touch point. And who on Atlanta's team can deal with the Tracer on point? Nobody. Nobody can fight the Tracer with brig armor on point. And you just force the enemy team to rotate. So instead, they decide to man mode. They push out with Bongo. I love pushing out with Bongo. It's really good. They get fluxed. This is a little bit of a risky rally, but they're somehow staying alive. Edison pops his ult and instantly gets popped out of it and then gets killed again. Oh. The trance comes out too late. Yo, Florida just run them over. What the heck? How did that even happen? Good flux. Edison ults. Edison's trying to off angle. Yaki's just eating him alive. The Baptiste ult is doing so much damage. And they just get run over. They even get killed through trance. That was insane. Chris with the triple. They're so good. Which of these comps should the Sigmas look for off angles or play with the Orisa? I'm guessing take off angles mainly with Ashe, right? It's very point specific. So like in a choke like this, you just double shield. You just shield together. You don't take like hard off angles in the meta right now. Mostly because Echo can just solo kill a Sigma. So you don't play super split. Just a little split. Holy moly. This time it's Atlanta's turn to just roll over a team. So I think they do the same thing. Right? They go top. They see an Orisa shield and they say, alright, they already put a shield down. Let's go. They push in bottom. Big pull here. But I don't know. Fate got stunned somehow. That's a very bad Orisa shield. That is behind the team. That is not where he wanted it to be. Okay. Kodak has swapped to Brig to help deal with Yaki. You love to see it. And the square from Dogman, they try and push through it, but there's too much healing happening from Dogman and Kodak together, and Edison has a great angle. BQB getting some kills, but it should not be enough unless Yaki can just actually carry that hard. Oh my god, can Yaki actually carry that hard? Kill the Orisa. Oh my god, Yaki. You maniac. Oh, the drone got forced. That's it. That should be it. There's no ults coming back for Atlanta. Oh my god, Yaki. Yaki. Oh. They just can't handle him, bro. They literally cannot handle him. Holy shit. Alright. So again, Atlanta rolling out on Zen and Echo. They should lose. They should literally just hard lose. They have no way to deal with the Tracer. I don't understand why they're still playing this comp. Alright, BQB dies. You love to see it. How does BQB die? Right, and why does Atlanta have so much more space? What's going on here? Oh, Florida just all commits to the right side, to the Mega. And Atlanta just pushes up, takes all the space, pulls BQB and just kills him. Yeah, Florida needs to play more aggressively to take space. If they know Atlanta is just going to keep playing the Zen comp, they rotate over there in case the enemy team is playing Rush. You don't need to make that same rotation if the enemy team is playing this comp. Just take as much space as possible so the enemy DPS doesn't have space, and that way Tracer can just fuck up the backline. There's just no reason to go theater on first fight. On retake, you have to, because they hold main, right? But you basically made yourself fight a retake fight, which is not good. Yaki making 3 people look at him by himself. Off angle shooting the tanks. Just farming them, getting a pulse. Not a great pulse. Almost kills himself with it. But still the square comes out. Atlanta finally invests their own square. They should be able to stabilize here, punish the front line. Oh, no, that's a terror. That square is in such a bad position from Dogman. That's a really bad place to put that. Your team can't push out with it at all. It literally is only for healing. That's a straight up garbage square. And yeah, Yaki's just in the back line getting kills. Because they use their square so far back, they have to fall back. And that means BQB gets to like play on the high ground too. But yeah, they're doing absolutely nothing to deal with Yaki. You can't. That cannot be the game plan. It's like in Atlanta Reign's like scrim room or planning room. There's like a whiteboard with like their plans for the match and like their win conditions and what they want everyone to remember. And like at the top, it just says "Let Yaki fuck," and it's like, that's not what your game plan should be. All right. So again, I always like in this comp pushing out with Bongo. It's very good. They push around the corner with Bongo. They play aggressive. They throw the flux at him. I don't know if they needed to stack that all together. I feel like they didn't need to use all of these ults, in my opinion. They used 3 ults at the exact same time, and that stops them from being able to like win the long fight, or it makes the long fight a lot harder, I think. Oh my god, Chris is a maniac. He made that so hard for Edison. But they bongo and push out, and then they flux before they even force out the drone. So Gangnam Jin's drone kind of nullifies both the bongo and the flux. And then they have to use Edison's ult to push out more than that. And he doesn't even get... Does he even get, like, a copy flux off? Yeah, he doesn't even get a flux himself. So I feel like those ults were very poorly used by Atlanta. And the rally and the bob from Mayhem actually got a lot of value. And Yaki just doesn't care. He can just stall point forever because he's Tracer. And he can get double pocket. This is one of the things with this comp, is if you're on a map where touching point is really good and you have a pocketed Tracer and the other team doesn't have anything, you can just always touch point. Always stall point. Oh, he got one earlier. He did get a flux. Okay, okay. Oh, that was a crazy hit shot by Baby Bay. Okay, so Florida pushing in. Decides to just push in with their shields and not use any ults early. I'm okay with that. But with their next Orisa shield, they need to use a bongo. They need to bongo out of this hole. And okay, I guess they don't have any ults at all, but I really would like Atlanta to play more aggressively. But they're just slow playing, trying to make it last fight. That's okay. Okay, again, they bongo early, but then they also pull pulse. So both ults, again, get like somewhat negated by the drone unless they can kill Hawk here. And they can't. So I think they needed to be a little more patient with their pull pulse after the bongo. They end up winning the long fight just because they have Bob for the off angle. They have Square. Atlanta just has no other ults besides the Bob. But now they're going to have a bunch of ults for retake. But like... Look at this situation here, you know, like they push out and bongo right now. They can make the other team back and use their drone without having to use the pulse. Now imagine they have pull pulse right now and they just pulse the tanks. It's literally just a free win. Like if that was a pull pulse, oh my god. It's a dub. It's a dub. I mean, they win anyways, but like it would have been so easy. And they would be able to hold their Bob. Why not go Brig instead of Zen? You mean for Atlanta? Well, the Brig is good for sure at helping deal with Tracer. But the problem is, if the differences in your comp is one team has like a Brig Tracer, and the Tracer is the one getting pocketed, and then one has the Brig Echo, the Tracer is going to get so much more value out of that Brig armor. So much more value out of that Brig armor than the Echo can. Because the Echo has to like fly up above everyone, and the Echo has like a much longer cooldown on her fly, so she has to like, she can't just constantly fly in, fly out, just always harass you, do all this shit. Brig just has so much more synergy with Tracer. So you play your own Brig, fine, and that might help you deal with Tracer a little bit better, but the other team still has a better comp because the Brig Tracer is better. Wow, this is deja vu. They're literally doing the same play. They bongo. They don't force the drone. They flux without the drone being forced. The drone cancels out multiple ults. Yaki is in the back. Fucking. And they win. Yeah. Atlanta made the exact same play. And made their mistakes even harder this time. I really feel like they threw that. Like, they have time, right? They don't have to rush this. They have plenty of good ults, right? So, why bongo first, actually? So, bongo and push in is good, but why do that when you have Square? So, in my opinion, if you need to push a corner, yeah, just use Square first. And that allows you to break shields, right? And like push space. And then you want to use bongo like when you get close to the actual point, when you want to fight. When you have both ults, I feel like you always use Square before bongo, no matter what, anytime you have it. I feel like it's way better. They don't even use trance. Kodak dies before he gets his trance off. Man, this is just a mess. Edison doesn't get any value. It just sucks. Brig has so much more synergy with Tracer. Things 2018 me never would have said. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I think when Brig came out and we knew you could overheal, people didn't expect her, at least initially, people didn't expect her to actually be in tank comps. People expected the overheal to be better on DPS because giving a DPS like 50% more health is way better than giving a tank like 10% more health, right? Why is the quality so bad? Okay. So Atlanta decides to pick Hollywood. Their other options would have been Kings Row and Blizzard World. Assuming that they want to play the double shield style and don't want to play Brig, then you do not want to go Kings Row. Kings Row is a much more brawly map. And assuming that you are worried about Yaki's Tracer, it's much better to go to Hollywood than it is to go to Blizzard World. This map, there's so much verticality, especially on the second point. And then the first and the third point don't really have a lot of wide space for Tracer to play either. This is just not a super good Tracer map. This is a much better Echo map than Tracer map. So as far as counter-picking strategy-wise, I really like this Hollywood pick actually from Atlanta. I think this is a very smart map pick here. We have obviously Dante, who plays both Echo and Tracer for us to a very high degree on both. And then we have Linkser playing Hitscan, right? So on this map, we always felt like we could get more value playing Echo than we could playing Tracer. So that just makes me feel like Atlanta made a good choice here. Okay. So they want to push in. Florida very quickly gives up juice, this top high ground. They aren't worried about holding it at all. They don't want to get their drone forced with an unlucky play. They just leave right away. Is this the map ATL won? This is a smart counter pick. Maybe this is the map they won. I do not know the answer to that. We will see. It would not surprise me if they won this map. This is a good map for their style instead of Florida's. Okay, and this makes sense. They want to let Atlanta come in a little bit so that Yaki can get behind and have room to work on the Tracer. Makes a lot of sense. He's just always peppering them from behind. Oh, wow. Fate actually goes for a hard flank. Ooh, Yaki gets blowed up. And what's that flank with the tanks? They've done this a couple times where the Orisa and the Brig together go on a weird flank, but like, is that really necessary in this situation? Do they have to do this so fast? Like, give Yaki time to get value. Time to get work done. He's just discorded, then gets dynamited, and then body shot by Kodak, and he's just gone. And this flank is just not getting a ton of value. They killed Dogman, but that's it. They're going to go down here. I feel like they rushed that a little bit. Like, that's a play you make when, like, someone got picked already and the fight shouldn't be winnable. And you, like, make a really aggressive flank play to try and turn the fight. But they just did it with even numbers. I feel like that was not necessary at all. They definitely could have slow played it a little more. Maybe if Atlanta wasn't ready. But I feel like it was just not needed. They might go for another cheeky play again here. They've been discovered. The drone is already out and the square. Oh no, oh no. Oh, Kingdom Jin went down already though. That's really good. But the Ash Dynamite, the Brig value. Why are they fighting in this room like against a Brig comp? That's so weird to me. I don't know why they're in there. It also makes it so hard for the Echo to get value. Like, the Tracer can just play outside of the room and like shoot you in the back and like never commit, but the Echo doesn't have that same option. And they get the pull pulse. They force the drone, do a ton of damage. It's very, very good. Now they use the square after the drone has come out. They flux after the drone has come out. They stagger the ults well. I'm not sure they needed both, but it's not the biggest deal. Yaki does go down. Oh, they use the Sigma ult. Fate's going down. Atlanta is turning this with their aggressive trance and with the Edison copy. That's actually super surprising. I did not anticipate that at all. So let's see. So here we go. Dogman is dead. Yaki goes down. Fate is pretty low, as is Chris. Fate just gets run on by Gator, I think. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with... Oh, wait, Gangnam Jin died, right? Is that what happens? No, Gangnam Jin does not die. So why isn't he able to keep Fate healed up? What's going on? He's like not healing him at all. Maybe he gets shielded off. Maybe Gator just gets a good Orisa shield to block heals. That's probably what happens. That's definitely something Gator is good at, is those mid-fight aggressive shields. He doesn't always put his first shield in like the right position in my opinion, but the mid-fight when he wants to shield like behind your tanks to cut off heals and just get aggressive, he definitely has a good sense on when he can make that work. Alright, so now this is a situation that's hard for Florida because Atlanta is going to have so much map control in the middle of the map and the high ground control, especially with Gangnam Jin dying early. I don't know what's going on there. Gangnam Jin is definitely dying too much. Fate also goes down, obviously, because they do not have the BAP heals anymore. There's a bongo going, so the early bongo from Atlanta pays off. They just like one-shot Gangnam Jin. Oh my god, they're turning this around. BQB, the fucking hero. How is this possible? BQB dynamite Bobs to kill Kodak, Hawk, and Gator, and Edison and Baby Bay are like one shot. Holy shit. Okay, Baby Bay trying to clutch. Oh, Gangnam Jin. Oh, Baby Bay, that's not a good Bob, my friend. They're all alive again. Yeah, Baby Bay goes down. Whew. Bob did something, unlike ATL lulz. Oh, no comment. No comment. All right. So now it's really important to talk about what space Florida decides to play in their defense here. And they do not opt to hold high ground. Instead, they know that Atlanta is almost always going to make this rotation around Mega. They don't want to just walk through the open in the middle of the map, right? So they're going to rotate around the Mega. Everyone does that in this situation, usually to try and get high ground. So they come close so that they can pull you off high ground. They can make this hard for you. The Flux does come out from Hawk. It does force the early drone, which is a good opening to the fight. But Florida just says, we're going to get in there real hard with our bongo. That also forces drones. So both drones are down. But bongo lasts way longer than Flux. And look at these aggressive shields from Florida. All right, I don't think this Flux was necessary. I feel like Florida over-ults a lot, actually. This is not really needed. That Flux was not needed at all. But they end up cleaning up the fight. They use just Flux and bongo. Enemy team uses just Flux. Maybe they used Bob. No, Baby Bay fed Bob at the end of last fight. So 2 ults for 1, but it allows them to, again, get this close hold positioning. And this time they do feel like they can get on this early high ground. So now all of a sudden things are really hard for Atlanta. They can't push through the Mega side at all with this high ground control. And they need to go main and look for pulls off of the high ground. But Florida just says, go ahead, brother, and drops down with their square and looks for the fight. Baby Bay with a big flank kill, though, onto BQB and staying alive. So Baby Bay with the hero play here. And the trance and the bongo coming out as well. Wow, Atlanta has used so many ults. 1, 2, 3 ults. Both support ults and their echo ult just to push. And their bongo. Wait. No, that was a fake bongo. That was an echo bongo. Just to push in. And they're able to just barely get kills. They use their real bongo and start getting some kills. But, yeah, actually, against the Rally and the Bob, that's a really good long fight from Atlanta. It's really surprising that they won this. Oh, no, BQB already used Bob. Okay. So the Ashe is dead. This is a fake bongo. Rally runs out. Now they're going to put down the real bongo. Boom. Hawk barely lives, actually. It's crazy that he does. And Edison, look at the crazy value he gets on all these clumped up people with the bongo. They're all there. We get a flash onto 2 important targets. And Edison with good follow-up. This is just really good aggressive play from Atlanta once they get that first pick. I respect it a lot. They did very well here, in my opinion. So now they're ending this point here. Yaki gets a little pick, but it doesn't really matter. So 2 minutes on the board. Not terrible. And now they got onto third point, and this is where the Tracer has, like, on defense, has a lot less options. I mean, even on attack, it's even harder, but has a lot less options on where to play and what flanks to use. So this is where you start feeling a little better as Atlanta. I would feel even better if Kodak went brig here. But that's okay. Excuse me. So they get the early pull flux. Okay. And that's definitely going to force the drone. The drone does come out. They are not able to break the drone right away. So they can't just execute someone with the flux. And here comes the pull pulse. The stun comes out. Oh, this was the one where Edison, I saw the replay of this one. Edison got stuck by it and then flew out. And I think he would have lived in the drone if he had stayed. But he flew out with the sticky attached to him. And that is why he dies there. And if he does not die there, and if he just stays inside the drone and lives with his team, this is a very different fight. I think it's still a hard fight, just because in this situation, right, look at this pull pulse. Boom. It just does damage to the other targets, but really it's only Hawk. I mean, Hawk gets burst down very quickly after, but yeah, it's a very different fight if Yaki doesn't allow himself to just get insta-picked like that. You really, or not Yaki, I'm sorry, Edison. You hate to see it. It's just like a silly way to die. But it's not like he did something super dumb. It's just like a really unfortunate thing to have happen in a match. Okay, so now this space is a little hard to take for Atlanta because Florida's playing so aggressive. Oh, but Yaki gets caught out by Baby Bay, and that's what I'm talking about. There's not a lot of great space for the Tracer to play here. It's very easy to punish a Tracer. Wow, but they just don't care that the Tracer is dead, bro. They bob for space and say, we're still fighting. They bob and bongo and just go the fuck in. They get the flux. They bob, bongo, and flux. And just don't give a shit. Wow. I love that play from Florida, actually. That's so good. That's exactly what you want to see. Someone on your team dies. Still a winnable fight. Just press ults and win the fight. Oh, that's such great play. That is great Overwatch. Okay, so now all they really have to work around early is the rally and the square after, but they definitely have to be worried about this high noon. Baby Bay can get really good high noon value here if the Sigma helps. He's looking for Yaki. They flux into high noon, which is a great combo. It means the drone cannot save you, because you're obviously going to be above the drone AoE. But again, Florida doesn't care. They get so aggressive with their rally. They push in. What a stick, too. And it doesn't matter. They can't touch. I feel like they should have been able to touch. But this is very, very well played from Florida at the end. Just getting really aggressive and playing in the beginning of this point. Because once you get to that last choke, like I said, the Tracer has a lot less value. But they just play aggro early. Now Edison has decided he's going to start needing to play Tracer. Kodak has said, let's start playing Brig. Let's play the same comp. Excuse me. Let's try and get some value. Yaki looks for early picks on the Widow. They aren't there. Just going to play the Tracer. But now Atlanta is forced to play Florida's game. And look, Edison is a good player, but his Tracer is not on the level of Yaki. And I doubt that... definitely Kodak's Brig is not as good as Chris's. And they also do not have anywhere near the synergy on these two heroes. And this is what Florida's comp does. It makes you feel like the only option is to mirror this. But the thing is, Yaki and Chris have been playing these two heroes together in Orisa meta all season long, bro. They've been doing this all season. Back when it was still Hanzo May, they were playing Hanzo Tracer with Brig. That's why we started playing it, because Florida started playing that in scrims and we thought it was really good. Gladiators also started playing it early, but they did weird stuff with their like Brig flanking and shit that I think is kind of bad. But Florida has about as much experience in this style as anyone in the league. I'd say us in Florida have played Orisa comps with Tracer and Brig more than anyone else. And you just don't want to take that mirror. You really don't. It's not in your favor. Atlanta gets forced into a corner really fast. But look, Florida does this weird-ass thing again where they're Orisa and Brig flank together. I don't know what that is. I'm really confused as to why they do that and what they think is so good about it. That feels like a super bad play to me. Like, why is your Orisa going alley a good thing? Edison just gets so much value once Yaki is dead, but like, what the heck were they doing? So you're saying Glads had the Goose playing loose. Yeah, fucking Goose and Birdring would just go on these crazy flanks together. It was so weird. Just give Birdring armor and let him do it. Goose can just play with the team. But I don't know if they ever did that in match. They definitely did it in scrims. I remember they busted it out in Route 66 defense against us, and we were like, whoa, this is actually a really interesting comp. We like this a lot. So, Fate plays so weirdly aggro. I feel like he's not weirdly aggro except the flanks, and I don't think the flanks are that aggro. They're just kind of weird. I don't understand their flank plays. All right, so now they're just spamming. They know they're down on ults. They didn't force any ults out of Atlanta. Atlanta gets the pull pulse. The drone comes out. Easy peasy. Yaki does not have his own. Oh, drone gets already forced out from Atlanta's side as well. They use the square to push in. Yaki now has the pulse on high ground with no drone available. Florida is able to kite out that Baptisal, and now they're going to push in with a pull pulse. Yaki is not able to get a kill with that pull pulse, and they are going to lose this fight to the Flux. Okay, BQB, my friend. Oh my god, no, they're just not stopping. Florida just never stops fighting. You love to see it. You actually do love to see it. I want to watch this pull pulse one more time and see if I know what went wrong here, because this is a very weird pull pulse. So he goes in, goes for the pull on tanks, and he just sticks the car? That's so weird. BQB barely lives here. Good job from him. Fate does go down to the Bongo rally pressure and Flux. Atlanta is using so many ults here. But BQB gets one pick, and they say, press ults, we can win this. Let's use Square, let's use Bob, let's use Flux, and we win these. And it would have been even easier if they hadn't beefed their Bob. King Namjin dies late. I don't think that will give an opportunity for a retake. Yeah, because Dogman and Kodak have both died. So if they were able to live, maybe you have a retake opportunity. But I don't see a retake coming out from Atlanta. I think a retake would be a mistake here. They should just play to hold close. Don't give up any high ground control. Just hold the choke. You have the Brig. You can fight in the small room. King Namjin swap Lucio to get back fast. He's just going to go BAP as well. And will be on mirror comps as soon as he's able to make it into the spawn. But with the defensive BAP and Ash able to have these multiple angles to take, it's a lot harder for Florida to push in. They're going to... Oh, it's not hard if BQB just takes the aim duel and wins it, though. Edison is trying to match Yaki on the side with his armor, with his pulse bomb, doing a good job of not letting Yaki get in and get flank value. But it doesn't matter because BQB already just killed Baby Bay, like, straight up in the duel. So they just have so much less damage without being able to dynamite the big group. So what Florida does is they just all group up behind both shields and try and use that Brig passive, Inspire, to just push in and fight. Because they know that that high ground isn't threatening if there's no Ash on it and there's no dynamite to counter them. So really well played by them. Now, coming on to the end of Hollywood here, or the end of second point here. Florida is again not able to get any high ground control. So Atlanta can take a good fight here. Edison has gotten decent space. He's in a good position. He can choose to flank if he wants. BQB with an excellent off-angle bob. He's so good at doing this. While Yaki is pressuring the enemy Ash at the same time. I don't know how Edison dies, but that's basically GG. The drone gets forced out. Edison's dead. After the drone, Yaki gets a stick. Ugh. Florida's DPS are just so good. It's actually crazy. It's so crazy. Okay, and here we go. A third fight on second point for Atlanta. That's really rare, but it's great that they're able to get it. They retake with the pull flux. There is a drone online to save it. Edison quickly breaks it and is going to look for the pulse. That might get a kill here. It doesn't actually do... Literally, it does 0 damage. How is that possible? It doesn't get eaten. Oh, he sticks a shield and everyone's on the other side of the shield. That's so unlucky, actually. Chris still goes down, though. BQB on the high ground is trying to get some kills, but I'm not sure if it's enough. Oh, Yaki! Yo, Yaki just never stops clutching, bro. It's literally like 1v4 or some shit. Oh, no, BQB's here, too. Oh, my God. Wow, I really thought Atlanta was going to win this. That was a great engage with them to come out with the flux, use the square to stabilize. If Edison had gotten a slightly better pulse, if it hadn't stuck to that confusing shield, they probably win that fight cleanly. But again, Florida is just so good at like keeping their DPS alive, keeping their supports alive, always making it to where like Orisa is the one that gets killed. Like no one else. Orisa is their only option to get kills on. And everyone else can just stay alive and keep putting out damage, keep using ults, and just clutch. You love to see it. And now with the victory box so close, it means that Atlanta, like, you either want to hold close in the choke or you want to hold in the second choke at the end. But Atlanta doesn't really get to do either one because they try to fight at the end of second and lose. So that means they can't hold the close choke, and if they try and hold the far choke, the car will just cap. So they don't have a good place to set their tanks up. It's really hard. BQB has Bob every single fight, sometimes two. It's nuts. Yeah, he plays way more, like a lot of Ashes try and use their dynamite to like get picks. Like they try and use dynamite on a squishy to like use dynamite and then shoot them once or shoot them once and then try and dynamite after when they run away. And BQB just tries to use dynamite on, like, the fat group of tanks every fight. Just get the maximum damage output possible and just build Bob all the time. It's really good because he's so good at creating, like, multiple angles of pressure using the Bob. So Florida is able to win the map. Good for them, despite it being Atlanta's pick and them picking what I think is a good choice because it limits Tracer's effectiveness. They are not able to win. Now they go to Anubis. This is definitely a bad Tracer map. So this is also a really smart pick from Rain. It's going to make it very hard for the Tracer to get value, especially in first point attack for Florida here. And yeah, we see... Oh, maybe not. They will try the Tracer at least in defense. It's not bad in defense. You have enough space. They have to push into you. But it's still not that good. I'm going to be honest. This is a point where I feel the Echo is much better. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed this. Eglari, thank you for the follow. I do appreciate the support. Okay, so here we have a decently difficult choke to push through. Atlanta needs to rotate everyone through. They wait, use their shields all together, make a clean rotation. That's how you want to see it. Baby Bay getting a little aggro early. Doesn't find the kill. That's okay. Just peeking, keeping him honest. Oh my goodness. Was Chris playing close, bro? Chris does some wonky shit sometimes when he plays so aggressively. This is a really good dynamite on this front line here. Chris goes down. Drone's already broken. Yeah. I don't know. If you want a hard fight in that corner and the other team has an Echo and you don't, it's going to be so hard because Echo just spamming with her stickies and her beam is going to get so much value just when you're standing still in that close corner versus Yaki trying to be behind them on the Tracer. There's just no way that Yaki will get the same amount of value that Edison will get looking at the heroes they're playing and where that Mayhem decided to take that fight. I think they should have played to be a little further back. You don't have to hold like directly in that choke on first point. You can hold kind of back on the pillars and make them push out space into you. And just like play time, fall back to point, play time, build up a pulse bomb, build up a square, do something. But fighting in that corner, I feel, is going to be really hard against the Echo. Oh, okay. Really good pocket from Gangnam Jin, and Fate does a good job of escaping before the drone breaks. So the drone does get forced, but they don't get any kills. Oh, see, and look at that. That pull dynamite into Flux is just brutal, bro. It's brutal. Did Dogman not have drone? Why would he not have drone? I don't know. So let's see. He definitely has it right now. They square aggressively, and they drone while they're squaring. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know if it was needed. It's hard to tell. Looks like Dogman did get a little low, but I feel like it might not have been necessary. And because they used the drone early, they just get pull fluxed, especially with that dynamite. That's insane. It's so good. Whew, whew. So clean, so clean. Okay. So now we have Yaki behind, okay? And again, the Tracer can work a little better on defense because you can always find places to hide and they have to push into you. But the Tracer on attack is going to be a lot harder in this map, I feel. Good job by Kodak being proactive and knowing where Yaki's probably playing to try and force him out. Big pull pulse anyways, though. Forces the drone. Fate just gets the fuck in there. They also use Square and Bob, but they use a lot of ults to try and stuff this choke. They are not able to actually get any kills there, though. And both the Bongo and the Square online for Atlanta. They also try using the Echo ult. They don't get any direct value with the Echo ult, but the second life lets him kill Gangnam Jin, which is huge value. But so far, everyone else staying alive. Edison going down. Hawk looking for the Flux, but it's not super high value. Just huge, scrappy fight on point, but Atlanta is starting to stabilize here. Let's see if the Flux can turn that around at all. It doesn't look like it. Baby Bay isn't able to put out a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter because everyone on his team has so much healing. Yeah, Atlanta just stabilizes really well there. So Florida commits so many ults to stop that rotation into Dark. But I feel like they maybe didn't have to do that, right? Like, what ults did they use there? Like, they use Square and Bongo. Like, Square and Bongo make it so hard to push out of here. Like, I like the pull pulse, maybe even the Bob. But the other ults, like, you need to hold for this. I don't know. That was really weird that they committed those ults there. I think that definitely made things hard for them in the long run. And a good pick from Edison onto Gangnam Jin. So Atlanta playing the same comp in defense with the Brig and the Echo, but Florida's still going to play the Tracer in attack. I feel this might be hard for them. They decide they don't want to rotate left side. They want to rotate right. That way their Tracer can use the left side. That's a decent idea. It does give their Tracer at least somewhere to play. He does get the kill onto Baby Bay. Obviously, losing Gangnam Jin is a much bigger loss there. Oh, Yaki barely living. Oh, no. Hawk just fed. How are they losing this? BQB gets an insane off-angle playing on that high ground, but, like, how does the other team lose their Baptiste and you, like, lose the long fight? This is crazy. Like, how do you lose from this position? Hawk feeds. Like, that's just a straight feed. And then they have to use drone, but everyone's out of the drone. And then BQB plays from this side. and has a good angle because, like, so I like this play, this rollout from Florida. They push main with both their shields while Tracer shoots from here. And all they have to do is break the shields here. And that means that Rain has to walk backwards. They have to walk back. And once they have to walk back, they can put their Ashe here and get a sick crossfire. This is a really interesting rollout from Florida. I have never seen another team do this. When a team places double shield here, just have both their shields go through main and break the shields to kind of bully the enemy team into backing off. That's a really interesting, like, innovative way of attacking this point with double shield. I have actually never seen anyone do that. What do you think of Mayhem playing Ashe Tracer throughout most of the tourney instead of Echo? I think it's good. I think in the mirror, when both... I've thought this since Echo came out. So since our series against Shock, which I believe was the first week that Echo wasn't actually banned, the meta was these tanks and Ashe, and people played Ashe Echo, and we played Ashe Tracer, except for points that were really, really good for Echo and not very good for Tracer. In the mirror, I think Tracer is strictly better than Echo. I think it is better, and I think it forces you to mirror Tracer. I think it is very good. Echo just has a hard time when the other team is playing hit scan and Tracer. Like, the Echo can't play aggressively, can't hold a lot of space, and pull pulse is just insane, and the Tracer can just play different angles and play so aggressive and so annoying in and out, and the Echo just cannot compete tempo-wise. And there we see Yaki just giving Baby Bay the business. 6 freaking minutes for Florida here. This feels like it should be a fat dub. Baby Bay has now decided to go Torb, but this is actually one of the points I think Torb does deal with the Tracer well, and it's because this is just such a bad point for Tracer in attack anyways. I don't think they were able to force drone with that Baptiste, which is super unfortunate. You definitely want to force out the drone there. Edison does kill Chris, so maybe the drone did get forced earlier and we didn't see it, but Chris going down is huge. The team is just trying to stabilize in here anyways, which I think is fine. Edison should just go spawn camp the brig, though, for sure. Is that where he's going? I hope so. Can't tell. Doesn't look like it. Looks like Chris is going to make it in. BQB breaks a turret. Chris is making it back. Maybe Yaki helped Chris come back safely. Okay, again, they do this weird thing where the Orisa and the Sigma just hard commit to separate angles. They bob in while they pull pulse. They force that early drone. They don't get the bongo off, but they've gotten a couple kills. Hawk kills himself with rock damage, I'm sure. Wow, what a decisive push from Florida. And they always make it to where the only person you can kill is Fate. The only target you can kill is Fate. Everyone else stays alive because Fate is so aggressive and everyone else is just doing so much damage. I really like how Florida handles this. Okay. So they're going to play the Tracer again here in defense. Spam, spam, spam. All right, let's see if Florida changes at all how they want to position and hold this choke. They are not changing it whatsoever. Yaki is just going to try and zone the Echo. Early drone. Drone instantly broken from both sides. Yaki pushing in, has to back out. And this feels very stalematey. This doesn't feel very good. Yeah, for the defense. The Tracer is not going to get more value on this corner than the Echo will. It just feels impossible. And Baby Bay just pops off, hitting hella shots. Watching Fate pull and then clop on people's heads all weekend was fun. Yeah, I like when Orisas aren't afraid. I think it's really good. Again, I still think some of those flanks are really weird, though. I'm not, like, whatever. Splitting from your Sigma can be really good, right? You don't always need to double shield, but some of the flanks he goes on just confuse me. Gotta be honest. All right, so early pull with no ults is able to force drone. This is huge for Florida, okay? So now we have the rally coming out, but they flux, and again, no ults for the first pull. So the second pull, they just use pull flux. There's no drone. And easy dub. And only flux invested from Florida. They still have their own rally. They have every other ult in the game. I cannot imagine Atlanta being able to cap this. I would be so upset if they do. Wait, I might be misremembering, but I thought you said the Torb was only a counter to Tracer when you run it with the rush comps. Except on very bad points for Tracer. Like, if it's just, like, second point, Anubis attack is a terrible point for Tracer and a very good point for Torb, so you can deal with it. But in general, I don't think Torb is good in the double shield compositions. That's such a weird pulse. Why does he keep pulsing the ground? Does he think Sigma's going to eat it? But yeah, I think Torb in... If you play Ashe Torb and the other team plays Ashe Tracer, the Ashe Tracer should win on most maps. How is Atlanta winning this fight? Florida has so many ults. What did they do wrong? Okay, let's see. So both teams are hard stacking in the corner here. They do the quick pull pulse. He pulses the ground. It forces the drone, and they insta-kill the drone as well. So the drone dies. Oh, KT said something. I didn't see it. Just got here. How much of this am I going to have to review before tomorrow? Oh, you don't have to review any of it, bro. I'm actually watching this, so I have a little more to talk about tomorrow. That's why I'm doing 3 today. Yeah. Okay, so they force the drone. They get their own drone forced as well by the square play. Edison uses flux, but I don't think he hits anything with it. But the second flux is what wins it, I think. Hawk's flux. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they force the drone with the pulse, but without flux, they don't have a good second ult to get any kills. Like, for some reason, they aren't able to get value out of the square. Maybe it was just misplaced. But yeah, that's really, really weird. Yeah, I haven't watched... I feel like San Francisco versus Florida is like the most important set to watch before tomorrow, so I can talk about like why I think Florida's style didn't work. Like, it worked the whole time and then didn't work for San Francisco. But I am not watching that one before our set, so I won't be able to talk about the finals a ton, but that's okay. We can talk about other stuff. And you guys talked a decent amount about the May Melee in the last episode anyways, so... But I just wanted to have a little more to talk about because I didn't watch a lot of it, or if I did watch it, I was just second monitoring it while I was playing TFT or something. I don't know why I grinded so much TFT. There's about to be like so much changes to the game. I should have just waited. I hit Diamond right before Valorant came out, and then I just didn't play it at all because Valorant. And then I was like, oh, let me play again. I've got a little bit of a break. And they're about to like totally change the game, like remove a bunch of units, add like 15 units, like... Ugh, just bad timing. Okay, Florida playing the Tracer again. I want to see if they go for the same push style where they just double shield main and break the shields while they're Tracer off angles and they just force the other team to drop off the high ground. Can they force Gator to drop? That's the question. How did Yaki already get here? They do not force Gator to drop. Okay, so they still have the high ground control, and that makes the flanking DPS play so much harder. Really smart play from Edison to push out and punish the Ashe. Because Atlanta has been able to hold this first high ground, they're getting so much value. The question is, can Yaki on the off angle, as well as BQB respawning and coming back, can they now break this platform control? They're going to have square. That should force them off. That does force them off. Okay. This is really good. And... the drone is already out and broken. This should be a dub. This should be a dub for Florida. Oh, Edison's dead. Yaki's not getting any kills. He's not building pulse. Here's the pulse, but the fluxes are already getting traded. Oh my god. Okay, Baby Bay's dead. Oh. Holy shit. Atlanta sustains for so long in there. Yaki just wasn't able to get any value. He really needed to build that pulse a lot faster, and he was not able to. But BQB got the bob. Oh, good play from Kodak. This should be a dub, though. It should be a duh, as the kids call them. Yeah, we did quite a bit of recap, but we have lots of questions about you, Outlaws Out. Yeah, I figured we would talk more about general stuff in Outlaws, yeah. I used to play a ton of TFT. I got up to Diamond early on, and then Valorant in life. Yeah. Yeah, once the mid-set changes come out to TFT, where they release all the new heroes, or the new units, I'm probably gonna try and learn the game again, and I'm gonna see, like, I'm gonna try and get like really high rank. Like I think I can get like challenger, honestly, in that game, because I played for like 2 weeks and I hit diamond. So I think if I just keep grinding, I can be really good. It's like good to have a secondary game that I can just play for fun, like on my phone and shit. So finally, in the long grind out, Florida wins, which makes sense because they've traded so many kills with Atlanta, but they had to use a couple ults. They actually have a good amount of ults pushing in here. But they don't have time to work with them. They don't have time to build like the last of their flux. So really, they just need to push in aggressively. I want to see what kind of rotation they're doing. I don't know why we're watching the Tracer here. Someone tell Peggy this is dumb as shit. This is literally useless observing. She's just going to pull pulse to force a drone. Let's see. Okay, so early square from both teams, and both teams also rally. Drone already out from Mayhem. Yaki totally whiffs the pulse. Gets no pulse value at all. And this is a really good play from Kodak. Just rallying and knowing, again, the Tracer does not have a lot of routes in on this map. You do not have a lot of ways that you can push in. So they know that she can't push in from dark. She's going to have to use all her blinks to push in from dark. So she's going to push in from the left side. And they just rally and watch it with their brig. And it's so easy. And they finally are able to take a map. So in my mind, this is just a very bad Tracer point for attack. Planet Zoo plug for anyone looking for a game. Yeah, if you guys liked Zoo Tycoon back in the day, Planet Zoo is a nice updated version. It's made by the same people. Got a bunch of extra features. Fun little game to play. Very enjoyable. All right. So we move into Junkertown here. And this time, Florida does not want to play Tracer. They feel like the Tracer is not good on defense on this point. I actually feel like you can still get away with Tracer in defense. I feel like it's hard to play the Tracer in attack, but in defense you can still play it. But as you can see, maybe they don't want to do it because they don't want to keep Tracer on second and it makes swapping their supports awkward. But basically, when they're not on Tracer, they do not play Brig. Okay, they play the Bab Zen. That's really important here. So, and because Chris cannot play Zen, that means that they can't start out on Brig Bap with Gangnam Jin on Bap and Chris on Brig. They can't start out on that comp, and then on second point where the Tracer's not so good, where the Echo's much, much better, they can't swap their supports to be able to play the Echo instead. So they opt to instead just play the Echo for the whole map. I think that's fine. That's one of the reasons why us playing double flex support, like we play double flex on this map. So what we do is we have one player permanently play the BAP no matter what, and that's Repel for us. And then we have Raucus play the Brig on first point while we're playing Tracer, and then Zen on second point when we swap to Echo. But Chris doesn't have the Zen in his hero pool, so Florida decides to just keep the Echo full time. Is there going to be a Tactical Crouch with Dream tomorrow? Yes, there is. I will be on Tactical Crouch tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central, more like 2:30 because that shit always starts late. So obviously Florida not going to spawn camp. They're playing the double shield. They want to take the fight in the car wash, in this main choke. Really what you want to look at here is both teams' Widows are just going to be looking for sight lines. And both teams' Sigmas and Echoes are going to play together and kind of look to push the enemy Sigma out. Kind of like back in the day when you used to play slow comp with Hanzo Mei. The Sigma and the Mei were like a duo kind of fighting the other Sigma Mei. Now the Echo kind of works the same way in maps like this that are a little more open. Don't gotta do us dirty like the... I mean, we'll see what time the podcast starts tomorrow. That's all I'm saying. Oh, BQB just takes Edison's head off. You hate to see it. This, I don't really like this just setup from Atlanta. I like Gator just wanting to get aggressive. That's fine. I don't think this drone was needed yet from Dogman. But the big issue I have is their Orisa is here and their Sigma is here. You need your Sigma to be pushing something, in my opinion. So he's just doing nothing right here. So like your options are you can hard double shield main and just shove the shit out of main, which he's not doing. Or you can have your Sigma go around in the alley where Edison was, so maybe he doesn't get headshot by the Widow instantly, and you can spend a little time over here to scout the Widow and tell your Widow where the enemy Widow is playing. Okay, that's an option. Or you can have the Echo flank here and have the Sigma push in Mega. Okay, but the Sigma is doing nothing standing here. Anytime the Orisa is pushing something, the Sigma should also be pushing anything at the exact same time. There is no reason for Orisa to push first and the Sigma to be doing nothing. This is terrible. The last few months we were cheesing time to raise those Twitch concurrents for partner. Okay. Yeah, literally Hawk just it did nothing. It was a 4v6 because Edison got picked and Hawk was actually AFK. I don't know if they were just on a separate page and like Gator decided to start pushing without talking about it, whatever. It may not be Hawk's fault whatsoever. Like, let's be fair. I do not know. But there's some miscommunication going on in the team that their Orisa is pushing while their Sigma is just vibing. You cannot do that. That is not going to work. All right. So this time, again, the Sigma Echo decide to push together. I like this. The enemy Sigma definitely has to feel pressured to match. So here he is. The Echo is also matching, and they see the Widow. This is so important. So they know where the Widow is. They can call out the Widow. So now Baby Bay should have the advantage in the Widow duel, right? Because he can peek from so many places. But now that they know where the Widow is, it's really easy to keep track of him. All right, Edison does not get picked. Now Hawk and Edison have rotated back with the main team. They're going to hard shove main. And Baby Bay does get a pick on Gangnam Jin. And continues to flank. I love this aggressive play from Baby Bay. BQB answers something back. Oh, he doesn't have his grapple back up yet, though. But I think this should be okay because of the really strong tank positioning. Oh, no. Edison's down. This is actually all of a sudden very, very losable for Florida here. Unless they're able to get rid of this BAP ASAP, and they cannot. Wow, that's really unfortunate, actually. So, this is kind of what happens, though. Like, Fate just gets aggressive and pushes onto Baby Bay. And both tanks just flank around behind. And this is something that happens a lot on first point defense of this point. The enemy team starts pushing in and taking space. And your whole team can just kind of flip the map on them and get picks. Because when you're on defense, when you're flanking and pushing in, you have all this cover to work with. Whereas when the attackers are pushing on your backline, they're just like walking through the open, right? So it's way better for the defenders. This is a super defense-favored point, and it can be really hard to deal with unless you get super clean kills early. Baby Bay did get an early pick, but then died. And then BQB got a return pick, I think, onto Kodak, maybe? So once you don't have the Discord, it makes it a lot harder to get those clean kills. Let's see, we get a quick peek from Baby Bay. He does have the walls, so they do have all the information they need. Oh, why didn't he... What? Wow, okay. BQB just gets a really good dodge. is doing a great job of avoiding Baby Bay's sightlines. And Mayhem just hard pushes together, forces Drone, fluxes after, which then forces Trance. Hawk dies anyways. They're going ham. They don't care. This is really, really well played from Mayhem. They play so well around all the ults on the board here. So they see the walls. They know that if the walls are up, their Widow cannot play anywhere over here because she's just going to get pulled and killed, right? So they know the walls are up. So their Widow plays back here. And they know since no one can play over here, they just need to all line up on this angle so that they're as safe as possible and Atlanta has to commit and come all the way around into them. Excellent. It's the same thing you do whenever like they get a pick. Like let's say they just killed your Widow for free. You do the same thing. You collapse, you play here, and then you look for flanks around. Good job. Okay? But they don't want to go for flanks because obviously the Widow walls are up. The flanks will be instantly detected, sniffed out. So instead they wait for a second. They use the Echo ult, okay, to have an extra shield to just hard shove. They use the Bongo to hard shove. That forces out the drone. And then they immediately get the pull flux right after. And the great thing about copying Orisa is you can pull once to force drone, then instantly pull again to get kills after the drone. Big flux here. Hawk is so low, is somehow not getting healed by Trance in the air. Can we see why that is? Oh, because he's stuck under the bridge. This is actually really unfortunate for Hawk. He's stuck under the bridge while Kodak gets lifted up with the Trance. And that means that Hawk is going to die. They do a good job of killing the drone before the second part of the Flux procs. And they just go ham and get these kills. This is so well played by Mayhem. They play around those ults very, very well. It's well-deserved fight win. So now Rain has their Bongo, their Flux, and their Echo ult to work with, where all three of those just got used from Florida. But Florida does have these support options defensively. So we've got to see, I want to see Atlanta be a little more methodical. They don't have the option to just hard push main with both shields. I think they still need to start out the fight with Hawk flanking so that they can take some of this space away and then they can get a high value Flux. But they are not interested in that at all. They just Bongo instantly. But Hawk gets picked right away. Just gets pulled, rocked, and just one shot. Oh, maybe he doesn't even get rocked. Why doesn't he use shift then? He doesn't use shift. He just gets discorded and headshot by the Widow. You hate to see it. He really should not be dying if he has a shift up when he gets pulled. And he didn't shield the pull either. What was he doing? Oh, maybe he had just put shield on the ground and he couldn't move it yet? No, he had enough time. He definitely had enough time when he saw that pull coming to pull his shield back and get ready to shield himself. That was just a misplay. Unlucky. Really good play again from Florida. Wasted ult from Atlanta. They no longer have that Bongo to push in and take space. And now the difficulty comes in where we talked about before, you want one ult to force the drone, then a second ult to kill once the drone is down, right? So they have Flux to force the drone, but they don't have a reliable second ult to kill after. So they need Edison to copy Sigma and get a second Flux. Okay, so they actually just instantly get a kill on Fate on his own somehow. Maybe a Widow headshot or something? There's no Discord on him because he doesn't, there's no Zen assist. So I think Baby Bay just headshots him probably, and Gator finishes him off. Or maybe Baby Bay and Kodak headshot him at the same time. Let's see. So let's look at the old charge. 53-43. This is the old school way of VOD review before we had replays. 53-43 and 8. 48, 73, and 13. So these three killed him. Then they Flux. That's going to force out the drone. The drone doesn't get any kills, but they do kill the drone. They also get the Transforce right after. Edison did get the Sigma copy because he wants that second Flux. They're doing a really good job of denying that ult charge and not letting him get that Flux. Meanwhile, Yaki goes for one of those late flanks that we talked about to be able to clutch up. BQB, very aggressive positioning. Fate is already back on the ball, just playing to stall cart as much as possible. But this should be a win for Atlanta. It looks like they're stabilizing. Oh my god, no way. Yaki's just killing everything. Oh my god. Oh, that's a heartbreaker. That's a huge clutch, though. So let's look at everything Yaki does this fight. He flanks behind and kills Baby Bay, which is a really big play. He's at 80. Before this fight starts, let's see where he's at ult-wise. He's at like 50% ult at the start of the fight. He farms Edison when Edison pushes in and gets him really low so that Edison cannot just off-angle freely and build this flux. So he is the major reason why Edison doesn't get to build this flux, okay? Then he flanks and kills Baby Bay. Right? He's at 82, 87, 88. He kills Edison after he's out of the Sigma ult. Insane. Then he kills Kodak. Then he gets ult, copies Orisa, drops a shield on point, and ints into Dogman and kills Dogman. Then he gets a bongo and kills Hawk and pushes in and kills Gator 2. Yaki hard clutches that. Oh my god. That was just a pure individual outplay. That's unbelievable. Yaki kill me all game, unlucky. He said babe, XDD, baby. Yaki kill me all game, unlucky. Yeah, I mean, it started out with a kill on Baby Bay. He just got flanked in one shot because Echo is a silly hero that can do that. Just silently walk around the map and one-shot you from behind. All right. So they play the Brig Zen in attack. That is interesting. That Chris is not on BAP. That is very interesting. So let's look at what positions everyone decides to take. BQB playing Coast. This is a very good spot for Widow to play because the defense is just going to have a hard time contesting you except by having the Widow look. And if you have the Sigma go with you, the defensive Widow can't just win by looking at you. So they decide to push the far side while Chris and Fate sticking together on that Brig Orisa as they always do. I don't know what Yaki is doing here. Yaki's probably flanking behind, and yes, he is. And that's a fat dub. So this is a really good three-pronged attack from Mayhem. They have the Zen and Widow playing the really far sightline. That's just impossible. Just impossible for this comp to contest. Because even if their Sigma is over here, then Yaki can go over and just kill the Sigma. So the Sigma can't play here. No one can play on this side. So everyone has to play either in main or on this side. So that means for the attackers, that side is free. So Florida Mayhem decides free real estate. And they're going to take this. Okay, perfect. Then they hold mid with these two and just play to sustain and fight. And then they have Yaki Lake flank on the right. And it's just so hard to shut down. Alright, yeah, Yaki gets the pick. They're just farming. And there's not going to be a recontest. There's no second fight. Let's be honest. Loser, loser. Okay, so let's talk about this. I think Atlanta's map picks, they were able to pick maps that were difficult for Tracer, but they were never able to actually deal with Yaki's Tracer or deal with this Tracer playstyle in general. I think that Pulse is insane for just always being able to force drone all the time, where Echo just doesn't give you that freedom. I think the Tracer style is just flat better in the majority of situations, except for maps where the Tracer is really bad. I think we saw Dogman miss drones sometimes, like use drones when he didn't need to. We saw Hawk get caught out and die sometimes when that wasn't necessary. But realistically, Mayhem just had better comps. and just played really, really well around their pulls and their ultimates. And when it was time to like play aggressive, they would just get the fuck in there and play aggro and just use ults and win fights. They are not afraid to clutch. They are not afraid to use ults and turn things around. You really, really love to see it. They just played this set very, very well. They played aggressively. They played to their strengths. And they deserve to win. Atlanta is not a bad team, but Florida was just playing on a very high level, and this is a meta where, again, they can play very much around Yaki on Tracer, and even when he plays Echo, he's super good at the Echo as well, so this is more... Atlanta played kind of standard and didn't make any exceptional plays, didn't make very many big mistakes, but just no big outplays. Kind of sometimes just playing a bad comp or sometimes just positioning in spots they didn't need to, but overall not terrible. Florida was just excellent, and to me that's the difference maker there. But yeah, that's my overall feelings on Mayhem versus Atlanta. I think Atlanta's pick on Anubis was smart. That's why they were able to win a map going into the series. I expected Florida to 3-0, but Atlanta did take one map, and it wasn't like it was... I mean, this last map was not very close, but overall, it was not like it was a snowball stomp of a series. So I think Atlanta played well, and they deserve props for a good series, honestly.